For this project, any category 4 yarn will work, but I used a full skein of Lion Brand's Pound of Love in Oxford Grey and a quarter skein in Honeybee. As for tools, a 7 and a 6mm hook, scissors, stitch markers, tape measure, and a tapestry needle. There's a written pattern down below. Use offer code TCDDIY for a discount. Watch to the end of the video to learn how to enter this week's giveaway. We're using 3 stitches for this project, and they will be as follows: chain, single crochet, half double crochet, and double crochet. This tutorial is for a size small, but you can adjust it for your size, and we explain how to in the video, so let's get started. Getting this cardigan started, we're first going to grab our category 4 yarn, make a slip knot, grab our 6mm hook, and make a chain that goes from your side to where you want the inside of the cardigan to be. And I want mine to be a total of 27 chains, so that comes out to be 7 inches or 18 centimeters. Once when we have our chain, we are going to block off that last chain. Do a chain up of 1 that counts as a single crochet. We're going to insert our hook into that loop that we blocked off, or the second chain from our hook, with a single crochet. And then from here, we're just going to go all the way down, putting 1 single crochet into every loop that we have, going back down our chain. Then I'll meet you guys at the end of this row. So we just finished up going in with our first row of single crochets. And as you guys can see, I have inserted some stitch markers because we're going to need to figure out where we want our horizontal ribbing to be, where our alpine is going to be, and where our other side of our horizontal ribbing is going to be. So this is all going to be up to you. You guys can keep it all even like this, or you can make it a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller on either side. That's completely up to you guys, but just to let you guys know, I have inserted my stitch markers into the 9th and then into the 18th loop, so all of my sides will be even. And just to show you guys a little swatch of what I have, this is what it will eventually turn out to look like. And then once when we get here, this next row that we're going to do is just going to be a row of double crochets, but we will be switching out for our secondary color towards the end as well. So let's go ahead and get started with the double crochets, and then I'll show you guys how to switch out your colors as well. So getting started on row number 2 together, for this part, because each panel will be a little bit different, we're going to be doing double crochets all the way through past this first stitch marker all the way until we get to our second, and then we're going to be switching out once when we get to this next stitch marker. So just to start off this row, we're going to do a chain up of 3, flip our work. From here, we're just going to be going in with regular double crochets all the way until we get to our last stitch marker that we have right here. And then once when you guys get to that last double crochet that you guys are going to do with this primary color, I'll meet you guys back so that we can switch out. So we just made our way all the way down with our first little bit of our double crochets with our secondary color. And what we're going to do from here is go in with our last double crochet together, but not finishing it off with this primary color because we're going to be switching out for our secondary. So we're going to prepare for a double crochet just like normal. We're going to insert our hook into that last loop. We can take out the stitch marker for now. And then from here, we're going to yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. Right before we do our yarn over, pull through that last 2, what we're going to do is grab our secondary color and just place that onto our hook, and then just pull that one through so that it closes off with this secondary color. And then once when we have that, we can actually leave this working yarn just hanging out in the back of our work. And then we aren't going to cut and tie because that is a lot of extra work. We're just going to leave that. We're not going to weave it in. We're just going to prepare for a double crochet, and then we can go in putting 1 double crochet into the rest of our single crochet row with our secondary color. And I'll meet you guys once we get to the end of this so that we can go in with our next row. So we've just finished up going in with our regular row 2, which was just a bunch of double crochets, but we did switch out for our secondary color because this is going to be the inner border. But what we're going to do from here, since we are here, we're going to do a chain up of 1, flip our work, and then into every other row in between our double crochet / alpine rows is going to be a row of slip stitches along the outside, single crochets where the alpine is going to be, and then slip stitches along the edge as well, so that we can get the ribbing. The single crochet is going to be behind the alpine, and then ribbing along this side as well. So let's get that started up together. We just did our chain up of 1. We are going to flip our work. Now to get that ribbing, we're going to be doing back loop slip stitches, so that's fairly easy. What we're going to do is insert our hook into that first back loop. We're going to yarn over, pull through everything on our hook. Insert, yarn over, pull through everything. Let's do one more. Insert into that next back loop, yarn over, pull through everything. And we're just going to keep doing this all the way down until we get to our last slip stitch. And for this section, it's just going to be until we get to this last color that we have, this last color double crochet loop. So we're going to insert, and instead of doing a yarn over pulling through everything, we're going to take our primary color and then wrap that over our yarn. But a really quick tip is when you're going in with this portion, since our slip stitches is ribbing along the opposite side, we're looking at the back right now, we're going to take our secondary color that we have right here and then just make sure that it's always behind our work like this, so that when we go in with our next row, we don't have to try and twist with the secondary color. It's just always in the back so that you don't have to worry about it looking a certain way. But once we get here, all we're going to do is take our primary color, yarn over, and pull all the way through those 2 loops that's on our hook. And then we're going to make sure that this stays right here. And then go into this first loop that we have with our primary color with a single crochet, because this middle section right here is going to be where my alpine is. So go ahead and put single crochets going all the way down until we hit our stitch marker, and then we're going to be doing back loop slip stitches again. Now that we've made our way over to our next stitch marker, we're going to take our stitch marker out for now, but from here all the way down to the end, we're going to be going in with back loop slip stitches again. So we're going to yarn over, pull through everything, insert it into that next back loop, yarn over, pull through everything. We're just going to keep doing this all the way down until we don't have any more loops left. Once we get to the end, we're going to do a chain up of 3, flip our work, and then we're going to start working on our detail rows, which is going to be double crochets and then alpines. So let's just get that started off together. And then just for this solid section right here, I will be inserting my stitch marker back in just so I know where I'm going to start my alpines. But once when we get here, we're going to do a chain up of 3, flip our work, and this is what our work should be looking like so far. Once we have this, from where we're at over to where our first stitch marker is, we're going to go in with a row of back loop double crochets so that we can get this ribbing. So we're going to prepare for a double crochet, insert our hook into that next back loop, go in with a regular double crochet, nothing fancy, into that next back loop, double crochet. We're going to keep doing this until we hit our stitch marker, and then we'll do some alpines together. Now we just made our way all the way down with our back loop double crochets, and as you guys can see, this is our ribbing that we have for this section, and it's really pretty. But once we get here, we're into this middle section right here where our double crochets is in the previous row. So now we're just going to be doing alpines into here. And alpines is super easy. It's just a bunch of front post double crochets and then double crochets, but alternating. So we're going to start off by doing a front post double crochet. So all that is doing a yarn over, and then instead of going in through this top loop that we typically go into, all we're going to do is insert our hook in through this first double crochets post. So right where the body of the double crochet is, the one that's directly underneath this next loop that we would normally be going into, we're going to insert our hook behind and bring it through that other side, yarn over, pull through. The only difference is that once we get here, once we have 3 loops on our hook, we're going to yank up just a little bit, just so that this front post double crochet and these double crochets are all on the same level. Once we've yanked up a little bit, we're going to yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and that is our first front post double crochet. Let's do a regular double crochet right after that. So we're going to prepare for a double crochet. The only difference is we're going to be skipping one loop that we have in the back, because the loop that we just made with that front post double crochet counts as this loop that we have in the back, because if we go into that one, then we'll actually be increasing, which is what we don't want. So we're just going to insert our hook into that next loop with a double crochet. And then once when we have that, we have one front post, one regular double crochet. We're going to be doing one more front post, one more regular double crochet together, and we're actually just going to keep doing that until we hit our last stitch that we have right here. It could be a front post or it could be a double, it doesn't matter, but we will be switching out our colors again. But let's just do the sequence one more time. We're going to prepare for a front post double crochet. We're going to be skipping this next post because this double crochet is directly on top of it, so we're going to be going into that next post, insert, yarn over, pull through. We're going to yank up just a little bit so that this entire row is even. We're going to yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. From there, we're going to prepare for a double crochet, skip that next loop into the previous row, and double crochet into the loop right after that. And then once we have that, we're going to be alternating between one front post and one double crochet into every loop until we get to that last one. We're not going to finish it off because we're going to be switching out our colors together. Now, going into this last stitch that we have, we just finished up going in with our last front post double crochet for this alpine section that we have. And then from right here, we are going to skip one, do a regular double crochet into that last loop. So we're going to yarn over, insert our hook, yarn over, pull through. We're going to yarn over, pull through 2, and then once when we get to these last 2 loops, we're going to be switching out our color again, and our color is right about here. We're going to want to make sure that this working yarn for our primary color is behind our work. We're going to yarn over with our secondary color, and then pull through those 2 loops that's on our hook. And then once we have that, we can continue on with the pattern, which is just back loop double crochets from this point all the way to the end. So we're going to prepare for a double crochet, insert our hook into that first back loop, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2. And we're going to keep doing this all the way to the end. Once we get to the end, we're going to do a chain up of 1, flip our work, and then we're going to be doing the same row that we just did in the previous row. So it's going to be back loop slip stitches, single crochets where the alpine is, and then back loop slip stitches along the outer edge as well. So let's just get that started off together once we get to that corner. Now that we've made it to the end of this section, we're going to do a chain up of 1, flip our work, and then from this outer wall that we're at over to where we are going to be switching out our colors for the alpine section, we're going to be doing back loop slip stitches. So into this first back loop, insert, yarn over, pull through everything, yarn over, pull through everything, and keep doing this until we get to that last back loop that we're going to go into, because I'm going to show you guys how to switch out your colors just one more time. Now we're at this last back loop, we're going to insert, and then from here we're going to make sure that this secondary color is behind our work. And since we're working in this direction, it could be really easy to just leave your work in the front, but it's a little bit easier if we try to pull it backwards this way, and then we work over it in this direction, so that if there's any mess, it will be in the back. But once when we get here, all we're going to do is take our primary color, yarn over, and we're going to pull through those 2 secondary loops that we have on our hook. And now this is all chained off. And what we're going to do from here is single crochet into this section up until we get to where our stitch marker is, or where we need to start doing our back loop slip stitches for this ribbing section. Now that we're at the end right here where we need to start doing our ribbing, and this is just going to be the same as this end, go into that next back loop, yarn over, pull through everything, back loop, pull through everything, and keep doing this all the way down. Now that we're at the end of this row, we're going to do a chain up of 3, flip our work, and you guys guessed it, from this wall where we're at over to the inside where we need to start doing our alpine stitches. Those are going to be back loop double crochets, just like how it's been so far. Let's just do this together a little bit. We're going to yarn over, insert our hook into that first back loop, insert, and double crochet. And then we're going to keep doing this all the way down until we're ready to get started on our alpines. And then this second row of alpines is going to be a little bit different than the first row, but after that, you're just going to be alternating between these next few rows. So let's just get that started off. So now that we're at our alpine section, what we're going to do is take a look at what we have in the previous row. We're basically just going to be alternating between a front post double crochet and a regular double crochet, just like how we've done, but we're going to want to make sure that they are alternating. So into this first double crochet loop that we have in the alpine section right below, it's a front post double crochet. So since it's a front post double crochet in the previous row, we're going to go in with a regular double crochet first. And from here, prepare for a front post double crochet. Then into the regular double crochet that we had in the previous row, we're going to insert, pull through 2, pull through 2 with a front post double crochet. Let's do that one more time. We're going to prepare for a double crochet, take a look at the back. We're going to be skipping 1 loop, go into the loop after that with a regular double crochet, and then yarn over. We're going to be skipping this next front post double crochet, go into the next regular double crochet row in the previous alpine row, and then go in with a front post double crochet. And then we're just going to be alternating back and forth just like that until we hit this last stitch that we're going to be doing, and then I'm going to show you guys how to switch out your color again. So we've made it all the way to the end of this alpine section. This is what things should be looking like, and we have just 1 stitch left to go into. So since the last stitch that we did was a regular double crochet, the last one that we're going to do is going to be a front post double crochet. So we're going to prepare for a front post double crochet, go into that last double crochet post into that previous alpine row, yarn over, pull through, yank up a little bit, yarn over, pull through 2, and then once we have those last 2 loops, we will be switching out our color, making sure that our working yarn is in the back of our work, grabbing our secondary color, we're going to yarn over, pull through those 2 primary loops that's on our hook, and now we're ready to get started on this outside section, which is back loop double crochets. And then once we get here, we're just going to be alternating between those few rows that we just went into. So once when I'm done with this row, I'm going to lay this down flat, and then we are going to speak about this, and then we can get started on the rest. Alrighty, so we have just finished up going in with that row that we were just talking about, and if we were all keeping up, we should be on row number 6 together. And then from here, from rows number 3 through 6 that we just did, we're just going to be doing that, going all the way up until we have the length that we want, and this is actually the swatch that I will be using for the actual piece. But let's just go over what we just did really quickly. Since we just ended on row 6, all of our odd number rows are going to be rows of back loop slip stitches along the outer edge, single crochet where the alpine's supposed to be, back loop slip stitches. Once we get to the end, we're going to do a chain up of 3 and then do back loop double crochets. Once we get to this alpine section, we're going to take a look and see what the last stitch was in the previous alpine row. For example, this one was a regular double crochet. We're going to be doing a front post double crochet into this regular double crochet. We're going to skip 1 loop in the back and then into this next loop right here, do a regular double crochet into that loop, and then keep alternating like that all the way down, switching out our colors where this last stitch is, if you guys are switching out your colors, and then doing more back loop double crochets. And we're just going to keep going back and forth like that until we have the length that we want. And this is what I will be using, so just to let you guys know, I'm going to have a total of 35 rows, and then that comes out to about 12 inches or 31 centimeters. And I stopped where I want the v-neck of this portion to start working in, so this is about mid-chest for me, but you guys can keep going as high or as low as you guys want. But I'll meet you guys back once you guys have your front panel finished up, and then I'll show you guys how to decrease together, keeping in mind that you guys do want to end on your back loop slip stitch and single crochet row, because we will be only doing decreases in our double crochet rows right here. So go ahead and get that done, and then I'll meet you guys back. So we are back, and we have just finished up going in with the solid portion of our front panel, and now we're going to start doing our decreases where we want the v-neck portion to be. This is going to be super duper simple. We should all have ended up on this side where we have finished up doing our back loop slips, singles, and back loop slip row. So once when we get here, we're going to do a chain up of 3 and then work our way back until we have just 3 loops left at the very end, and then we're going to be doing a back loop double crochet decrease of 2 into the third and second to last, and then a back loop double crochet into that last. So I will do my regular row going all the way down, including my alpine, switching out my color, and then I'll meet you guys back once we have just 3 loops left. So we've just made our way down with our next back loop double crochet to alpine to back loop double crochet, and we left our last 3 loops because this is the first row that we're going to be doing our decreases in. So what we're going to do once we get here is prepare for a double crochet. We're going to be inserting our hook into that third to last back loop, yarn over, pull through, and then into that second to last back loop, yarn over, pull through. We should have 4 loops on our hook. Once we get here, we're going to yarn over, pull through 3, yarn over, pull through 2, and then that is our decrease of 2 back loop double crochets. Once we get here, we're going to prepare for a double crochet and then just go into that last back loop with a regular double crochet. Once when we get here, we're going to do a chain up of 1, flip our work, and then maintain doing the same thing that we were doing this entire time. So back loop slip stitches to single crochets to back loop slip stitches, but along this first portion, we're going to be missing just 1 loop because we did that decrease in the previous row. Then go ahead and keep doing that all the way down. Once we make it to the end, we're going to do a chain up of 3, flip our work, and then work our way on back, leaving the last 3 loops again because we're going to be doing 1 more decrease together just as a refresher. Now we have made our way back down with our second row of decreases, and we have left our last 3 loops just like how we did in the previous decrease row. So what we're going to do is prepare for double crochet, insert our hook into that back loop of our third to last loop, yarn over, pull through, insert our hook into that second to last back loop, yarn over, pull through. We should have 4 loops on our hook. We're going to yarn over, pull through 3, yarn over, pull through 2, and then that is our decrease. And into that last back loop, go in with a regular back loop double crochet, chain 1, flip our work, and then go in with back loop slips, switch out our color, do single crochets, and then back loop slips down here. And then we're going to keep going back and forth like this while maintaining decreasing only on this side and keeping this other side blunt until this portion reaches all the way up to mid shoulder. And we're going to keep doing this until we hit our alpine section. If you guys don't need to hit your alpine section, then go ahead and just cut and tie wherever you guys need to. but I'll meet you guys back once we get here in case if you guys do, so that we can do these decreases together. So we've just made it all the way down doing our decreases into our secondary color section, and we do need to keep decreasing once we hit our alpine section. So I will be doing my regular row of back loop double crochets to alpines, and I will leave just the last 3 loops along the side so I can show you guys what to do. As you guys can see, I just have 1 loop left when it comes to our secondary color, and that's totally fine. I'll meet you guys back once we get right here though. So we've just made our way all the way down with our back loop double crochets. We started off doing our alpine row, and then we left our last 3 loops, which one of our last 3 loops was the last loop that we had into the slip stitch row, which was our last secondary color loop, and then the 2 that go into the alpine along this end right here. So all we're going to do once when we get here, this could be different for you if you guys have to do a decrease of 2 front post double crochets, that's fine. I'll show you guys in the next clip. But for those of you that are like me, what we're going to do is prepare for a double crochet, go into that 3rd to last loop, yarn over, pull through, 2nd to last loop, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 3, yarn over, pull through 2, and those are regular decrease of 2 double crochets. We didn't go in through the back loops because we are going in through the alpine section right here. And then since we have just this last loop left, we're going to prepare for a double crochet, go into that last back loop just to maintain that last rib, pull through 2, pull through 2. Once when we have that, we will not be working into our secondary color anymore. So we're just going to do a chain up of 1, flip our work. And then since we're basically at our last loop that we have right before we get into our alpine, what we're going to do from here is just go straight into single crochets, going all the way down until we hit the part where we need to start doing our back loop slip stitches along this section right here. So if we flip our work around, we need to start doing our back loop slip stitches right here. So that's where we're going to start doing it again. Once we get to the end, we're going to do a chain up of 3, flip our work, and then do more back loop double crochets. Start off doing our alpine stitches, leave the last 3 loops, and I'll meet you guys back so that we can do that as well. So we are back with our next decrease alpine row, and what we're going to do from here is do a front post decrease of 2. So what we have right here is prepare for a double crochet, insert our hook behind these next 2 posts that we have. That's how we're going to do our decrease. We're going to yarn over, pull through, yank up just a little bit, just like a regular one, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Once we have that, prepare for a double crochet, go into that last back loop with a regular double crochet, and that is how we do a front post decrease of 2 if you guys need it, but I don't, because as you guys can see, I have just 3 loops left. Here is my 1, 2, and 3. We're skipping this 4th one because this is where my last front post double crochet counts. So I'm just going to be going in with a decrease of regular double crochets and then 1 regular double crochet right after that. And so we're just going to keep doing that, going all the way down until we get the height that we want for this front panel, remembering that it does need to reach the tip of our shoulder, and we will have a bottom border along the bottom as well. So keep that in mind. We'll go ahead and just keep going back and forth, and then I'll meet you guys back once we have this entire front panel all finished up. Alright, so we are back, and we have just finished up going in with our front panel on the left side. And as you guys can see, we have all of this that decreased, including going into the alpine stitches, and it's a really nice incline. So what we're going to do from here, we're going to start working on our other front panel, which is basically the same thing, but since we're going in with a different color, it's going to be constructed just a little bit differently, but the stitches and the pattern is going to be exactly the same. But before we move on, just to let you guys know, from the first row of single crochets that I made all the way up to the top that I have right here, I have a total of 58 rows. And as a total, that comes out to about 20 inches or 51 centimeters. So for this next portion, I actually have a swatch already all done up. It's basically going to be the same thing that we have, but since we have our secondary color along this side, we're going to need to mimic it and make sure that's on the other side. And we have to do it this way because the alpines are not reversible, so we have to do it a different way. So what we're going to do from here is start off by making the same chain that we made for this first portion, and then go in with a single crochet, and then go in with a single crochet row for our first row, but we will not be finishing off this last single crochet because we're going to automatically go in with our secondary color together, and then I'll meet you guys back. Alright, so we're back and we've just gone in with our chain from our side into where we want the inside of the cardigan to be, and that's the same one that I did on the other side. So just as a refresher, I made a chain of 27, and then I came back and I did about 26 and a half single crochets because we're about to close this one off with our secondary color. So once we get to this point, we have 2 loops left on our hook, and instead of doing our last single crochet where we're just going to yarn over and pull through, from here we're going to take our secondary color, place that on top of our hook, and then we're going to pull it through just like that. Once when we get here, we're going to do a chain up of 3, flip our work, and then we can go in with our first little bit of double crochets, but we are going to want to insert our stitch markers into the first few spots so that we know where to go in for our secondary color, where we're going to go in with our primary color for our alpine, and then also our double crochets. So I'm just going to place my stitch markers in there, and then I'll meet you guys back. So we've inserted our stitch markers into the same spots that we have along the other side that we have. Well, the other side is over there somewhere, but this is my swatch. So what we're going to do from here is just do double crochets with our secondary color until we get to our stitch marker. And a really quick tip that I want to show you guys is just for these little bits, since we aren't doing any cutting and tying, but we do start off with some little tails here and there. What we're going to do to just hide those tails to make it easier for us later is prepare for a double crochet, which is what we would do normally. Insert our hook into that first available loop, same one that we would normally go into, nothing fancy. And then in order to hide in that tail, all we're going to do is just place that over the working yarn that we're going into. So pull through 2, pull through 2, and then now it's interwoven into that double crochet that we just did. Let's do the next one together. Prepare for a double crochet, making sure that that tail is over our work. So go into the normal loop that we normally go into, including having our tail just hanging out right on top of it, and double crochet. And we're going to keep doing this until we get to our stitch marker. Once we get to the stitch marker, I'll meet you guys back so that we can switch out our colors again. And then from there, I'll just kind of let you guys have at it, since it is the exact same pattern as we have over here. And then we'll move on from there. So we are here. I'm about to go in with my last double crochet that I need for our secondary color before we start switching out for our primary. So what we're going to do is yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. We have just 2 loops left. Right before we do our yarn over and pull through those 2, we are going to be grabbing our primary color, which should be attached to our single crochet row. And then what we're going to do from here, since it is still attached, we can actually just cut right here, but leave a little bit of a tail so that we can tie it in with this tail that we have right here, and then just weave that in later. So we're going to go ahead and cut that guy now. And then from here, we're going to do the same thing that we've been doing. We're just going to place it on top of our hook, if it'll stay, and then pull that through those 2 secondary color loops that we have on our hook. And then from here, we are going to make sure that our secondary color yarn is behind our work so that it doesn't get intertangled. And once we have that, we're going to double crochet like normal. We're going to prepare for a double crochet, insert our hook into that next available loop, and then we can do the same thing that we did on the other side over here with this tail as well. So just weave in this little short tail that we have right here with our double crochets as we go. So make sure it's just hanging out on top of the loops that we would normally be inserting our hook into. And yeah, that's basically about it. I'm going to lay this down flat once when I get to the end of this row, talk you guys through it, and then I'll let you guys go from there. Alrighty, so I have just finished up going in with our second row for our second panel. And as you guys can see, this is the first panel. We are all finished up with this one with the decreases and all. And it's basically just going to be the same pattern. We're just switching out our colors in a little bit of a different spot because we want our secondary color to be on the inside when we wear it facing each other. But same deal. I'm just going to talk you guys through this part, and then I'll let you guys do the length of what we need, and then I'll meet you guys back so that we can start doing our decreases together. But once when we're here, all we're going to do is do a chain up of 1 and then do back loop slip stitches until we hit our stitch marker. Once when we hit our stitch marker, we're just going to do single crochets, switch out your colors, and then do back loop slip stitches all the way to the end. Do a chain up of 3 and then do back loop double crochets, switch out your color for your primary, and then start to do your alpine. And remembering for your alpine, we're going to start off with a front post double crochet, making sure that you yank it up so that it's all even with the double crochets that we just did for the back double crochets right here, and then a regular double crochet, making sure that we skip a loop in the previous row, and then another front post double crochet, regular double crochet. Keep doing that until we hit our stitch marker, because that's our little middle chunk that we have right here. and then do back loop double crochets until we get to the end. Do a chain up of 1, flip your work, and then do back loop slips, singles, back loop slips. And then just to get started on the secondary row of our alpine stitches, we're going to do a chain up of 3, back loop double crochets, switch out your colors once you guys switch out your colors. And this is our second alpine stitch row, by the way. We're going to do double crochet on top of our front post double crochet in the previous row, and then front post on top of our regular double crochet, and then keep alternating just like that until we get to the end, back loop double crochets, and then keep going back and forth just like that until we have the same height for our other side to where we need to start doing our decreases. And then I'll meet you guys back so that we can start doing our decreases together. And just to remind you guys one more time, from the bottom all the way up to where I'm going to stop doing my rows, I'm going to have a total of 35 rows. And then make sure that you guys end on a back loop slip and single row, and then I'll meet you guys back so that we can decrease. Alright, so we are back and we're ready to start doing our decrease portion that we have right here. And just to let you guys know, it's going to be exactly the same way that we've been decreasing. We're going to do a chain up of 3 and then do a decrease of 2 back loop double crochets into the first 2 loops. But instead of in the previous row how we were just decreasing into the last 2, for this section we're going to be decreasing into the first 2 because this is where our secondary color is. But all the same, we're just going to get this first one started off together really quickly. We're going to do, don't mind this, a chain up of 3. This counts as a double crochet. We're going to prepare for a double crochet. Insert your hook into this first available back loop, yarn over, pull through into that next back loop, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 3, yarn over, pull through 2, and then that is our decrease. From here, just put 1 back loop double crochet into every loop. Once we get to our alpine, switch out your colors, do whatever alpine row you guys are on, and then finish this off. And then that's basically the same thing, just when you work your way back down with our back loop slips and back loop singles, we're going to do a chain up of 3, do a decrease of 2 back loop double crochets into the first 2, and then work your way down. And then keep doing that all the way down until you guys don't have any more of these regular double crochet decreases to do. And then I'll meet you guys back so that we can start doing our decreases into the alpine section just one more time, like how we did over here. So we've made our way all the way down to where we don't have any more of our secondary color to go into. And we are at our back loop slip to single crochet row. And then just to do this last row with you guys, we are going to be doing 1 back loop slip stitch just to close off this one. And then we are going to be switching out for our primary color. And then the rest of this is just going to be decreases into the alpine with our primary color. So let's just get this started together. So as you guys can see, I have just 1 loop left into our last secondary color. And then I have already switched out my loops. So what I'm going to do is go into this back loop, because remember we're doing back loop slip stitches for our secondary color. And then once we have this, we aren't going to yarn over. We're going to take our primary color, take this, yarn over, and then pull this through our last 2 loops that we have for our secondary color. And from here you can leave a little bit of a tail because we're going to need to tie this off and then weave this in later, but we are done with our secondary color. And then what we're going to do from here is do a chain up of 3 that counts as a double crochet. We are going to flip our work over, and now we're working into the alpine sections. So whatever loop you guys have next for your alpine section, not counting these first 2, is going to be the opposite of what we do. So basically, since this third stitch that we have right here is a front post, what we do on top of that is always a regular double crochet. So into these first 2 regular double crochet posts that we have, we're going to be doing a front post decrease of 2. So we're going to prepare for a double crochet, and then we're going to be inserting our hook behind this first post that we have, and then also behind this second double crochet post. We're going to yarn over, pull through, yank this up a little bit, yarn over, pull through 2. And then once we have that, we're going to prepare for a double crochet. We're going to be skipping 1 loop in the back and putting 1 double crochet into that next loop. And then we're going to keep doing this all the way down. Once we make it to the end, do a chain up of 1, flip your work, and then do your row of back loop slips to singles all the way down. So we're back, and we are meeting each other back for our second row of our decrease into our alpine section that we have right here. And we're just going to do the same thing that we did in the previous row, just one more time together. So as you guys can see, I already did my row of back loop slips and single crochets all the way down. I did my chain up of 1, 2, 3. Once we have that, we're going to prepare for a double crochet, and then we're going to be doing a decrease of 2 front post double crochets. So we're going to insert our hook behind this first double crochet post and our second double crochet post. From here, we're going to yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and then that is our decrease. And from here, go ahead and continue on with the same pattern going all the way down, and then keep going until you guys have the same height as the first front panel that we have, and then I'll meet you guys back. So we are back, and we have just finished up going in with both of our front panels. As you guys can see, they are mirroring each other, so they are exactly the same. If I bring it on down here, you guys can see that it's starting to curve in, just like that. And everything is looking pretty good so far. So now that we have these done, we can actually set these off to the side and then get started on our back piece, which I actually already have a good majority of this part done, but I'm just going to bring it up to show you guys what it's going to look like, and then we can get started on this together. The stitches are basically the same. We're still going in with our first row of single crochet, first row of double crochet. We're going to need to figure out where we want our alpine stitches to start and end. And then from there, we're just going to do our back loop doubles to alpines to back loop doubles, and then back loop slips, singles, back loop slips. So same stitches, just a decent amount bigger. And we're only going in with our primary color for this one, so you guys can go ahead and set your secondary color off to the side as well. But once we're ready to get started on our back, we're going to need to do a little bit of measuring. And the only part that we're going to need to measure for this part is going from shoulder tip to shoulder tip, because this is the back piece. So with my 6mm hook, I'm going to make a chain of 50, and that comes out to 13 inches or 33 centimeters. And this clip that you guys are seeing is actually the first back piece that I made, which is just a little too big. Now that we have our chain, what we're going to do from here is block off that last chain, do a chain up of 1 that counts as a single crochet, and then we're going to go into that loop that we blocked off, or the second chain from our hook, with a single crochet. And this part is going to be exactly like how we did the front. We're just going to go in with a row of single crochet going all the way down our chain. Now that we've just gone in with our first row of single crochets, we are now going to go in with a row of double crochets. So all that is do a chain up of 3, flip our work, and go ahead and put just 1 double crochet into every loop that we have going all the way down. Once when we get to the end, we're going to meet each other up, because we're going to need to insert our stitch markers, because we need to figure out where we want our alpine section to go. Alright, so this is the piece that I have once when I have gone in with my row of double crochet going all the way down, nothing fancy. So once when we get here, we are going to figure out where we want our alpine sections to be, and this is completely up to you guys. This is obviously my main back piece that I will be working into in just a couple clips, but I did go ahead and go into this swatch that I made for you guys with my stitch markers, and I have inserted my stitch marker into the 9th and 41st loop, and that's going to be where our horizontal ribbing is going to be. Because for the front panel that we have made, we have 9 double crochets on this side, and once when we attach it, it's going to be attached like this. I want it to look like the alpines just kind of roll over your shoulders like this, but you guys can obviously pick and choose wherever you guys want the alpines to be. So once when you guys have figured out where you guys want your alpine section to be, all you're going to do from here is do a chain up of 1, do back loop slips until you guys hit your first stitch marker, and then in between your first and your second stitch marker, we're going to do single crochets going all the way across. From your second stitch marker all the way to the end, we're going to do back loop slip stitches, and then from there we're going to do a chain up of 3, then do back loop double crochets from that point over to our first stitch marker on this side, and this is going to be where you start your alpine from this stitch marker to the next. So it's going to be front post double crochet, front post, double crochet, and then keep doing that all the way down. Once you guys hit the end, go ahead and do regular back loop double crochets, do a chain up of 1, and then do the same small row sequence. So back loop slips, singles, back loop slips. And then once we get here, we're going to do another row of our double crochets. So do a chain up of 3, back loop double crochets until we hit our first stitch marker. And then since we're in our second row of our alpine section, since the first stitch that we did in our first alpine row was a front post double crochet, we're going to be doing a double crochet on top of that front post, and then front post double crochet into the double crochet in the previous alpine row, and then just keep alternating just like that, like how we've been doing all the way down. And then from there, just keep going all the way down until we have a piece that is big enough that actually comes out to the same amount of rows that we have for our front panel that we were just speaking about. And just to let you guys know, my front panel is a total of 58 rows, and we do need to end on a back loop slip and single crochet row. So if you guys are like me, my front panel ended on a regular double crochet row, so go ahead and just add that extra row of back loop slips and then single crochets, and then I'll meet you guys back. So we are back with the majority of our front panel. You guys have already seen this part, but this is our double crochets, alpines, back loop only slips to singles, and this is just the majority of our back piece that we have. Like I said in the previous clip, I came back with a total of 59 rows because we do need to end on our back loop slip and single crochet rows, because now we're going to start doing some decreases only into the double crochet rows, just so we have a little bit of a booty scoop at the very end. So all we're going to do is basically the same way that we did our decreases for the front panels. I'm just going to be doing decreases until I don't have any more of these regular double crochets left, but you guys can obviously continue to go on if you guys want to do that as well. We're just going to do the first row of decreases together and I'll let you guys go from there. But just as a really quick refresher, all we're going to do is do a chain up of 3. Once when we have that into these first 2 back loops that we have, we're going to do a decrease of 2 back loop double crochets together. So we're going to prepare for a double crochet, insert our hook into that first available back loop, yarn over, pull through, into that next available back loop, yarn over, pull through. We should have 4 loops on our hook. We're going to yarn over, pull through 3, yarn over, pull through 2, and that is our first decrease. And from there, go ahead and just put 1 back loop double crochet into every loop that we have, going all the way down, remembering to maintain the alpine once we get to the alpine, going all the way down this way. And then do a back loop double crochet decrease into the third and second to last, and then put a double crochet into that last, and then go ahead and keep decreasing just like this until you guys want to stop. So we're back and we've just finished doing the entirety of the back piece. Mine is folded just for easier consumption, but once when we have that, some of you guys may notice that I do have a row of single crochets going all the way around of the bottom half of the back piece that I have. So just to show you guys, I did insert my hook into this corner, and then I just put 2 single crochet into each side double, and then 1 single crochet into each side slip stitch, going all the way down. And then once when I hit this corner, I just kept going all the way around, no increases over here, same deal over here, and then did the single crochets all the way back up to this corner. And then I did do a cut and tie over here, and then I did the same thing for the front panel. We're going to do 1 front panel together just so I can show you guys where we're going to be inserting our single crochets, just as a refresher. But I did the same thing over here, just 2 single crochets into each side double, 1 single crochet into each side slip stitch, going all the way down just along this one side. So the longest side that we have, that is going to connect to the back panel that we have. So I just inserted my hook into this top corner, went all the way down, and then cut and tied down here. And then we left the bottom, the top, and then along the insides raw, because we're going to go in through that section later. So let's just get started on this next one together. So getting started on this front panel together, what we're going to do is take our primary color, or whatever color the longest portion of our front panel is, make a slip knot, which I have already done. We're going to take our same 6mm hook and insert that into any one of the corners. From here, we're going to insert our yarn onto our hook, pull through, chain up 1 to secure. And then once we get here, the first bit that we have to go into is a side double crochet. So we're going to go into that first side double crochet with 1 single crochet, and then 2. Once when we have that, we're going to go into this side slip stitch row with just 1 single crochet, just like that. And that's going to be the sequence going all the way down. Let's just do this one more time together. Into this next side double crochet row, go in with 1 and 2 single crochet. And now we're at our side slip stitch row. We're just going to insert our hook into that last loop that we have, and then do 1 single crochet. And we're going to keep doing this all the way down until we hit this next top corner, do a chain up of 1 and cut. And then I already have mine done as I showed you guys, but you guys go ahead and do your other front panel and then go around the entirety of the bottom portion of our back. And then I'll meet you guys back so that we can connect everything together. So we are back and we have just finished up going in with our single crochet rows along the length of our front panels on both sides. Here's 1. And here's the second, and then also the single crochet along the side of our back piece, down and across the middle, and then up the other side of our back piece. And then now that we have that, we are ready to connect all of this together. So what we're going to do is first make sure that the alpine stitches, or the pretty side, is sandwiched face each other. So what we're going to make sure is that we're going to lay down our back piece first, making sure that the alpine is faced up towards us. And then also we're going to take our front panel and then make sure that our secondary color portion that curves is faced along the inside because the straight edges are going to be along the outside. That's going to be where our sleeve is. So what we're going to do from here is just take one of our corners. Let's actually go with this one. This will be a little bit easier. Now we're just going to single crochet, making sure that we're going in through the front panel and the back panel at the same time. So we're going to take our same 6mm hook, insert that into the front panel's corner loop and then also into the back panel's corner loop. We're going to take our yarn, make a slip knot, insert that onto our hook and pull through. When we have pulled through, what we're going to do from here is just single crochet, making sure that we're going in through both sides. So let's just do the first one together because this is fairly easy. We're going to insert our hook in through the first available loop into the front panel, and then also into the next available loop into the back panel. When we have that, we're going to single crochet, making sure that everything is closed in together. We're going to keep doing this all the way down until we don't have any more loops into the front panel to go into left. And then from here, we're going to do the same thing along the other side. We're going to cut and tie on both sides, and then we'll figure out the length that we want for our sleeve as well. Now that we have our shoulder seam all finished up on both sides, now what we're going to do is try this on and then figure out where we want our bat wing to start. So what we're going to do is figure out if we want our bat wing to be a high one, a low one, or if you guys are even doing a bat wing at all. I have already figured out where I want mine to be. If you guys are making the same one as me, I'm going to count from the top of the shoulder seam going all the way down just up one side, and then insert my stitch marker into the 58th loop on the front panel and on the back panel as well. And then just to let you guys know, that is a total of 15 inches or 39 centimeters. And then when we have that, we're going to start by inserting our hook where the stitch marker is along both sides and then single crochet down. And we're only doing it this way because the back portion and the front are uneven, so this is actually the easiest way to do it. So I'm just going to flip my work around, and then we're going to do the first seam together, and then we'll get started on the rest. So what we're going to do is insert our hook where I have my stitch marker in through this back panel and in through this front panel at the same time. We're going to grab our working yarn, which is my primary color, make a slip knot, and we're going to seam it up the same way that we seamed up the top half. So just insert your yarn onto our hook, single crochet, making sure you're going in through the front panel and the back panel at the same time, going all the way down. Once you guys make it down to the end, go ahead and do a chain up of 1 and cut, and do the same thing on the other side. Alright, so we have just finished up seaming up the ends along both sides. I have flipped my work inside out, and I've actually finished one entire sleeve. So now we can get started on the next sleeve together, but they're going to be exactly the same. So let's just get right into it. And we will be switching out for our 7mm hook. You're first going to want to make sure that your work is flipped right side out. And then when we do that, we're going to be working in through the loops that we have, and we're going to be working clockwise for this portion. And we're doing it that way so that we can go in through the front loops, so that when we go in with the next row of our alpine, we don't have to go around with single crochet and then make our way back. We can just go straight up with a chain up of 3 and then go in with our alpine from there. But this part's going to be fairly easy. All we're going to do is insert our hook into any one of the loops. I like to go into the loop that's right next to the seam that isn't occupied. So I'm going to insert my hook into here, insert my yarn, do a chain up of 3. That counts as a double crochet. When we have that, we're going to prepare for a double crochet, and then we're going to be inserting our hook in through that front loop and then finish off by doing a regular double crochet. Let's do that one more time. Prepare for a double crochet, go into that next front loop only, double crochet if it'll let me. And from here we're actually going to keep going until we have a total of 11 double crochet, remembering that this chain up of 3 counts as a double crochet, so we have a total of 1, 2, 3 in total. So I'm going to do 11 more and do a decrease of 2 into the 12th and 13th. And now that we have our 11 double crochet, let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. And then into the 12th and 13th front loops, we're going to be doing a decrease of 2 front loop double crochets. So how we're going to do that is prepare for a double crochet, go into that 12th loop, yarn over, pull through, and then also into that 13th loop, yarn over, pull through. We should have 4 loops on our hook. From here, we're going to yarn over, pull through 3, yarn over, pull through 2. And for this first row, we're just going to maintain doing the sequence of 11 front loop double crochets and then decreasing into the 12th and 13th for the entire first row. And then I'll meet you guys back when we have slip stitch into that first chain up of 3 that we made for ourselves. So we've now made it all the way back with our first row of front loop double crochets where we're doing our decreases into every 12th and 13th stitch. And once when we have this first row of our sleeve finished up, now we can go in with the alpine stitches. And with that being said, we're going to do a decrease of 3 of our first 3 alpine stitches, which is going to be a decrease of 2 front post, 2 double crochet, and then 2 more front post for the first 3 and then also the last 3 that we have. So let's just get that started off together. Once we make it all the way around to the end, we're going to do a chain up of 3 right after we slip stitch into that first chain up of 3. Once we have that, we're going to prepare for a decrease of 2 front post double crochets. So these next 2 double crochet posts that we have, we're going to be doing a front post double crochet, making sure that we're going in through both of these. So we're going to insert our hook into that next double crochet post, and then also into the one right after that as well. Yarn over, pull through, making sure that you're pulling through both of these. Yarn over, pull through 2, yank up a little bit, yarn over, pull through 2, and then that is our decrease. We're going to be doing one more decrease of 2 regular double crochet right after that. So we're going to prepare for a double crochet, go into that loop that's right next to that decrease post that we did, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 3, yarn over, pull through 2, and then once we have that, we're going to be doing one more decreased front post double crochet. So once we have that, we're going to prepare for the next one. We're going to be skipping these next 2 regular double crochets because this decrease of 2 double crochets is on top of these 2 loops. We're going to be going into those next 2 and then doing a decrease of 2 front post doubles. So we're going to insert our hook behind those next 2 doubles, yarn over, pull through, yank up a little bit, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and then this is what we should have so far. So decrease of 2 front post doubles, decrease of 2 doubles, and then decrease of 2 front post doubles, and then whatever we have after this, which should be a regular double, we're going to go into that next loop with a regular double crochet and then continue on with our alpine stitches from there. So we're going to skip this double crochet, go into the next one with a front post, yank up into that next loop, double, prepare, skip 1 double crochet, go into the post after that with a front post, and then this is what it looks like once we have a little bit of this done. So it looks fairly normal, but we are going to start decreasing here so that our bat wing, if you guys can see, can start to taper up just a little bit. And then once we get to a certain point, we're going to taper it up, but a little bit more slowly until we hit our skin, and then we can go in with our cuff. But we're just going to keep doing this all the way around until we make it all the way back to the end. And we'll meet each other back once we have just 6 stitches left so that we can go in with our decreases just one more time on the other side. So we've just made our way back with our alpine stitches going all the way down, and all we're going to do is go into those last 6 stitches that we left ourselves, but we're going to be combining each of them by 2 by doing a decrease of 2. So this may be different for everyone, but all we're going to do from here is take a look and see what is the next stitch that we're going to do. So as you guys can see, the last one that I did was a regular double crochet. So I'm going to be doing a decrease of 2 front post double crochets, but if you guys are doing a decrease of 2 regular double crochets, that is totally fine as well. Once we get here, we're going to prepare for a front post double crochet. Well, I am at least. And then I'm going to be inserting my hook behind those next 2 double crochet posts. Yarn over, pull through, yank up just a smidge, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and then that is our first decrease of 2. The next one is going to be a decrease of 2 double crochets, so go into that next loop, pull through, loop after that, pull through, yarn over, pull through 3, yarn over, pull through 2. And then we're going to go back to doing the same sequence that we've been doing. So we're going to do another decrease of 2 front post double crochets. So we're going to be skipping these next 2 available double crochets because we just did our decrease of 2 on top of that. Then we're going to go into the 2 double crochet posts right after that, just like that. And then once when we have that, we're going to slip stitch into that 3rd chain that we made for ourselves to close off this row. And that's actually how I will be going in with the rest of the sleeve until we get to about where our elbow is. And this is going to be decreasing for a little bit. This is about the angle that it's going to go up at. And if you guys want to switch up the incline or the decline, you guys can obviously adjust from there, either decrease of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever you guys need to do. So I'm just going to keep doing that until I get to where my elbow's at, and then we'll do the rest together. So we've just made it back doing our alpine stitches, and we have done our decreases of 3 along both sides. So technically 6 separate decreases along both ends, and I do have it laid on top of the sleeve that I already have all finished up, and it is looking pretty good. And just to let you guys know, I have a total of 13 rows, but you guys go ahead and adjust, keep going all the way down until you guys hit your elbow. But I have a total of 13 rows and also a total of 6 inches or 15 centimeters. But when we have this, what we're going to do from here is actually just do the same thing, but instead of doing 3 sets of decreases, we're just going to be doing 1 decrease of 2. So what we're going to do from here is do a chain up of 3, just like how we've been doing. We're going to prepare for a double crochet. And then into these first 2 posts that we have, we're going to go in with a front post decrease of 2. And then from there, just continue on the pattern just like normal. But if you guys have a pattern that calls for a decrease of 2, not front posts, go ahead and do that. And the rest of this is actually going to be the same. So do alpine stitches going all the way around the stitch until we have just 2 stitches left, and then whatever that last stitch is, you're just going to do a decrease of those 2 stitches, do a slip stitch into this chain up of 3, do a chain up of 3, and then do the same thing. And then from there, we're going to keep going down until it tapers in completely. And then once when we hit that point, go ahead and keep going with just straight alpine stitches until we're ready to go in with our cuff. So I've just finished up going in with the entirety of my sleeve, and just to let y'all know, from where I started all the way until where I ended, which is just a little past my elbow, is a total of 13 inches or 33 centimeters, and I went in with a total of 26 rows. So what we're going to do from here is actually the cuff. So we're going to take our secondary color, or whatever color you guys want the cuff to be, and we're first going to start off by just going around with a row of single crochet. So we're going to insert our hook into any one of the loops, and we're just going to go around putting 1 single crochet into every loop. Once we make our way around, we're going to slip stitch into that first loop, and then we're going to get started with our cuff together. So now that we've just made our way all the way around with a row of single crochet with our secondary color, what we're going to do now is figure out the length that we want our cuff, and mine is going to be a smidge bit longer. So I've already measured mine out, and I want mine to be a total of 7 inches or 18 centimeters. So I'm going to start off by making a chain of 25. Now that we have our chain, what we're going to do from here is block off that last chain, do a chain up of 2 that counts as a half double crochet. We're going to prepare for a half double crochet, and then we are going to go into that loop that we blocked off, or the third one from our hook, with a half double crochet. And then for this first row, we're going to go in with a row of half double crochet, slip stitch it into our cuff that we just made for ourselves, but we're going to be slip stitching it into the direction of the cuff that is going clockwise, so same direction that we went in for our sleeve. But I'll show you guys how to do that once we get down there. So we just made our way all the way down with our first row of half double crochets, and what we're going to do from here is make sure that we're working into this single crochet row that we just made for ourselves, making sure that we're going in clockwise. So for this direction, we're going to be working up, and then once when we get here, we're going to slip stitch into the second loop from our hook. So we're going to count up 1, 2, slip stitch into that second loop to close off this row, and then in order to work our way up to the next row, we're just going to be slip stitching up 1 row. And then from here, we're going to flip our work and go in with back loop slip stitches. And then once we make our way to the end, we're going to do a chain up of 2, flip our work, and then do back loop half double crochets, but I'll meet you guys back so that we can do that together. And then once when we get to the end, we're going to do a chain up of 2, flip our work, and like I said, we're going to do back loop half double crochets. So we're going to prepare for a half double crochet, and then go into that back loop with a half double crochet, and we're going to keep doing this all the way down. Once we get to the end, we're going to slip stitch into that second loop, just like how we did to join the first half double crochet row. So we're going to count up 1 available loops, and then 2, we're going to slip stitch into that second loop to close off that row, and then to work our way up to the next row, we're going to slip stitch into the next available row, flip our work, and then do back loop slip stitches coming back down. And then we're doing that so that we can get this bigger ribbing effect that we have right here. But go ahead and keep doing that all the way around until we don't have any more loops left to go into, and then we'll meet each other back so that we can seam it all up together. So we are back, and we have just finished up going in with our cuff. We have made our way all the way around, and we don't have any more loops left. And the first thing that I did was actually flip my sleeve inside out so that we can make our seam, and so that our seam will be along the inside. And then the next thing we're going to do is just seam it up the same way that we seamed up everything else. So let's just do the first little bit together. What we're going to do from here is insert our hook in through this corner loop, and then insert our hook where this working yarn is, or if yours is the other way around, that is totally fine. And then now that we've inserted our hook, we're going to pull through, chain up 1 to secure. Then once we have this, we're going to insert our hook into the first available loop into the front panel and the next available loop into the back panel, and then single crochet. We're going to keep doing this all the way down until we don't have any more loops left. Go ahead and do a chain up of 1 and cut, and do the same thing that we just did here along the other side, remembering that when we're going in with our alpine sleeve portion and also with our cuff, the first row that we're going to connect into the work is going to go clockwise. But other than that, every row, every stitch is going to be exactly the same. So I'll meet you guys back once we have both of those done. And now that we have all that done, what we're going to do is now start on the pocket. So let's actually bring back our cardigan so I can show you guys where we're going to measure. So when it comes to the pocket, we're going to make sure that it fits within 2 of our front panels when it comes to the front right here. So however many stitches we have for this regular double crochet portion, and then also for our alpine, we're going to start off by making a chain of that many stitches. So I actually have a total of 18 in between. So I'm going to start off by grabbing my secondary color because I do want the bottom to start off with that. And then also with my 6mm hook, and start off by making a chain of however many stitches we have right here. So I'm going to make a chain of 18. And then once when we have our chain, what we're going to do from here is block off that last chain. It's basically going to be the same thing as the front panel. Do a chain up of 1, and then into that loop that we blocked off, or the second chain from our hook, we're going to go in with a single crochet. And then from here, going all the way down the chain that we just made, put 1 single crochet into every loop that we made for ourselves. And once we've gone in with our chain, what we're going to do from here is do a chain up of 3, and we're going to go in with our first row of regular double crochets, but we will be switching out our colors just like how we did over here. So for the first section that I have right here, I have a total of 9 of our secondary color, and then once when we hit our 9, we have a total of 9, well, I have a total of 9 of my primary color. So I'm going to go all the way up, putting 9-ish double crochets in, and then I'll meet you guys back just to remind you guys how to switch out your colors one more time, and then we'll finish it off with our primary color, and that's when we'll get started with our details. And now we have our 9 double crochets, but we did not finish off our 9th one because we're going to be switching out to our colors. I'm just reminding you guys how to do that one more time. So we have gone in with our double crochet, and then we did, well, let's just do this together. This is our 9th one. We're going to prepare for a double crochet, insert, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. We're going to take our next color, simply place that onto our hook, and then pull that through our 2 colored loops that was already on our hook. And then once we have this, we're going to go in with more double crochets because this is our double crochet row. And then after that, we're basically just going to follow the same pattern that we had for the front and also the back piece as well. So once when we do a chain up of 2, flip our work. This is all going to be dependent on what color you guys ended on, whether if you guys ended on your primary color or your secondary color, but go ahead and just do whatever you guys did for the front panel. So as you guys can see, this matches what I currently have. So once when we get to the end, I'm going to do a chain up of 1, flip my work, and then do a row of single crochet until I hit my primary color, and then I'm going to do a row of back loop slip stitches. From there, I'm going to do a chain up of 3, double crochet until we hit our secondary color, switch out, and then from there we're going to go in with front post double crochet, front post double crochet to match this alpine. And I'm actually just going to be doing that for a total of 2 double crochet rows. So I'm going to be doing that for the next one because the alpine is going to overlap this one. So for 1, and then for another row after that, and then I'll meet you guys back so that we can start decreasing for our little pocket slit, and then from there I'll let you guys have at it. Alright, so we're back, and we've just come back with our 2 rows of our alpine like I just said. And then once when we get here, we're now going to start doing our decrease along the sides so that we have that little slit so that we can insert our hand. So what we're going to do from here is actually, we ended on our double crochet row. We're going to go back the same way that we've been doing. So we're going to do single crochet, switch out our colors, back loop slip stitches, and then from here we're going to do a chain up of 3, flip our work, back loop double crochet, and then we're going to do 6 of our alpine stitches. So the previous alpine stitch row I have is a double crochet, so I'm going to do front post double crochet, front post double crochet, and I'm going to leave the last 3 loops because we're going to be doing a decrease into the 3rd and 2nd to last, and then a regular post and then a regular stitch into that last one. So we've already done this a bajillion times. I'm just going to meet you guys one more time just so we can do this together, and then the pocket is just then straight on. So I'll meet you guys back just so we can do this one more time. And so we have just made our way back with our single crochets, back loop slips, back loop doubles, and then we did our alpine. We did 6 of them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or you guys did however many you guys needed, leaving the last 3 stitches on top so that we can do our decrease and then put a regular stitch into that last one. So all this is my next stitch is going to be a front post double crochet. If your next stitch is a double crochet, that's totally fine. Just do a regular double crochet decrease. But what we're going to do from here is prepare for a double crochet front post and then insert our hook behind these next 2 posts that we have, and then just do a regular front post double crochet, combining those 2 into 1 stitch. Once we have that, we're going to prepare for a double crochet and then just put 1 double crochet into that last stitch. If you guys did it the opposite way, go ahead and just put 1 double crochet into that last stitch just so that this end is nice and clean. Once we have that, do a chain up of 1, flip our work, and then do single crochets back, back loop slips back. And we're going to keep decreasing just like this until we get the pocket size that we want. And then I'll meet you guys back just to show you guys what this one looks like. Roughly talk you guys through the next one because it's going to be done the same way, but we're going to need to start it off a different way because, like we said in the front panel portion, it's not reversible. So we're going to have to start off a little bit differently, but we'll get there when we get there. So I'll meet you guys back in just a little bit. So I've just finished up making my first pocket, and this is what it looks like. I have laid it down directly on top of where I want it to be, and it's going to lay just like this. We haven't sewn it in just yet because we are going to do the next pocket together. So we're going to start the bottom off the same. We're going to first off take our secondary color and make a chain of your first 2 amount of stitches that you guys have. Like I said, I have a total of 18. Once when I have my 18, I'm going to do a chain up of 1 and then do 18 single crochet back. So just put 1 single crochet into every loop. Don't finish off that last loop though, because we will need to do something with that. So I will meet you guys back when we get to that point. So I just went in with my row of single crochet, leaving that last loop. What we're going to do from here is insert, yarn over, pull through, and we're not going to finish off the single crochet. It's basically going to be the same way that we started off doing the other front panel. We're going to take our primary color, insert that onto our hook, and then just pull that through the 2 other colors that we have onto our hook. And from here, all we're going to do is do a chain up of 3, and then we're going to start off by doing the same thing that we did here. So we're going to go in with our double crochet with our primary color until we have as many stitches as we need, and then switch out for our secondary color. I just showed you guys how to switch everything out, so I'm not going to bore you guys with those details. And then we are also going to go in with our alpine stitches for the next 2 rows, which you guys already know how to do, remembering that we are keeping our alpine stitches on our primary color just so everything can match and be really nice and clean once we actually wear this. And then once we have that, I'll meet you guys back just so we can remind you guys to do 1 decrease into the first 2 loops, and then just go on from there until we have the same pocket size that we made on this side. So we are back, and we have just finished up going in with our 2 rows of our alpine, and everything is lining up quite nicely. And all we're going to do is just do a decrease of our first 2 stitches that we have right here, and then continue doing the rest, and then keep decreasing along the side until we have the same size pocket that we have over here. So all we're going to do is do a chain up of 3. Let's add some more yarn first, and then I'll be right back. So I've attached my yarn, and now we are ready to start off with our decreases along the side. So what we're going to do is prepare for a double crochet, and what we're going to do is take a look at the 3rd stitch that we have in the previous alpine row. We have a double crochet, a front post double crochet, and then a regular double crochet. So we're going to want to do whatever is the opposite of the 3rd one. So we're going to do whatever is the same stitch as the 3rd stitch. So what we're going to want to do is go in with a decrease of 2 regular double crochet, not a front post, and then so that we can go into that 3rd one with a front post. And then we're just going to continue doing this all the way down, and then I'll meet you guys back when we have our proper pocket size. Alright, so we have just finished up going in with our pockets, and everything is looking pretty good so far. Now we can just set these off to the side for now, and then we're going to go in with our bottom border. The first thing we're going to want to do is figure out what color we want our bottom border to be. I want mine to be my secondary color. And so since we're going in with our secondary color, just to make sure that everything stays clean, if you guys are actually going in with your primary color, you guys don't need to do this. I'm just going to go all the way around with a row of single crochet around the bottom. And yes, that does mean along this corner and then along this little booty scoop corner as well, just going all the way around, meeting our way back here. And then there's not going to be anything fancy once we make our way over to these corners. We're just going to keep going all the way around because we want to keep this as round as possible. So I'll meet you guys back once we have this single crochet row all finished up. Once we've made our way all the way around with our row of single crochet, what we're going to do now is go in with our bottom border. So that's going to be fairly simple. What we're going to do here is just go in with a chain of the length that we want our bottom border to be, and I want mine to be about 1 inch or 3 centimeters. So I'm going to go in with 6 chains. Once when I have my 6 chains, we're going to block off that last chain, do a chain up of 3 that counts as a double crochet. We're going to prepare for a double crochet, and then insert your hook into that third loop from our hook with a double crochet. Once we have that, go ahead and put 1 double crochet into every chain that we have, going all the way down, and then I'll meet you guys back so that we can slip stitch it into that base. Once when we have our row of double crochet, what we're going to do from here is count out the next 2 available loops. So we're going to count up 1, count up 2, slip stitch into that second available loop, and then now our first row of double crochet is all closed up. What we're going to do from here is slip stitch up the next 2 available loops to work our way up to the next row, flip our work, and then do a row of back loop double crochets. And we're going to keep doing this all the way around until we hit our first little, I guess, decrease or dent that we have right about here. We're going to meet each other just a few loops away, and then I'll show you guys what to do once when we get there. So we're back, and we've just made our way over to this first corner that we have where our front panel meets our back panel. And all we're going to do is just try to decrease this as much as possible so that our bottom band doesn't buckle. So how we're going to do that is keep this bottom portion as a double crochet, and then as we work our way out towards the outside, it's going to make our way out to single crochet. So this is going to be different for everyone, or it's going to be vice versa. If you guys are starting out here, it's going to start out with single crochets, get out to half doubles, double crochets, and then you guys are going to connect into the same loops that we would normally connect into because we ended on a double crochet. But I'm just going to show you guys what that's vaguely going to look like. Like I said, this is going to be different for everyone, and this is just for me since I started off with 6 stitches. So let's just do this together. So as you guys can see, I am at this corner, and you guys can do as many rows of this as possible. I will be doing 2 for this section, so let's do this together. We're going to slip stitch into the next available 2 loops because that's what we need to do to work our way up to the next row. From here, we're going to flip our work, and then we're going to go in with 2 double crochets first of all. So here is 1 double crochet, and then here is 2. Into the next 2, I will be doing 2 back loop half double crochets. There's 1, and then there's 2, and then into the last 2, I'm going to go in with 1 single crochet, and then 2 single crochet, keeping in mind everything is going into the back loop. So just to lay this down really quickly, as you guys can see, it started off a little bit thicker along the base, and then it got thinner as we got up higher towards the outside of our bottom base as well. So once when we go back down, it's going to do the same thing. So it's going to come to a little point like this, and it's going to help our bottom band not buckle up. So let's just do the next row together as well. Once when we get here, we're going to do a chain up of just 1 because we're going in with a single crochet first. So we're going to go in with just 1 back loop single crochet, 2 back loop single crochet. From here, prepare for a half double, go in with 1 half double into the next, 1 half double into the one after that. We should have 2 loops left, so we're going to close off with just 2 back loop doubles. So there's 1, and then there's our last one, 2. And now we're just going to slip stitch into those last 2 loops, or into that last loop, I'm sorry, into the base just like normal. And once we have that, this is what our work should be looking like right at this corner. It's pretty subtle, but it does have this little point that it comes to right here. And like I said, you guys can keep doing this for as much as you guys need. And then we're actually going to do something really similar once we get over to this corner as well. So go ahead and do as many of these as you need. Work your way down, and then I'll meet you guys back around this corner. So we've just made our way down to this little corner that we have. And like I said before, we're going to do something that's really similar to what we did to this inner corner that we had right here. But since this is facing outwards, we're actually going to do this, but in the opposite direction. So we're going to flip it. So our single crochets are going to be closer to the base, and then our double crochets are going to be outside right here. So once when we get here, depending on where you guys end, you guys are either going to be starting with your single crochets or starting with your double crochets, but either way, you are in good shape. You guys just need to eyeball it and then just do the double crochets to half doubles to singles or vice versa, making sure that we maintain this corner that we have right here. And you guys can go in with however many rows that you guys need. So I'm going to be doing just one, just as an example. And then once when I'm done, I'll let you guys know how many rows I ended up going up with. So from here, all I'm going to do is do a chain out of 3 since I am on the outside. I'm going to flip my work, and then just like before, I'm going to go in with 2 back loop doubles. Here is 1, and then here is 2. And then I'm going to go in with 2 back loop half doubles. There's 1, there's 2, and then 2 back loop singles. There's 1, there's 2. And then since we end with a single, we're just going to slip stitch into the next available loop that we have right here with a slip stitch. And then into the next available loop, we're going to slip stitch up 1, flip our work, and then do the same sequence of back loop singles to back loop half doubles to back loop doubles. And we're just going to keep going back and forth like that until this fans out quite nicely. I'll meet you guys back in the next clip to let you guys know how many of these rows that I have, and then I'll let you guys do the rest of the bottom band by yourself. Alrighty, so we are back with this nice little corner fan that I just showed you guys how to do, and just to let you guys know, I went in with a total of 5 of these rows. So if you guys can see, here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, where we started off with our single crochets closest to the base, worked our way up to double crochets. And then now that my work is pretty much going the correct direction as the bottom band that we have right here along the booty scoop, I'm just going to keep going back with back loop double crochets, connecting everything just like how it should. And then once we get to this next corner of the booty scoop, we're going to be doing the same thing that we did here. And then we're going to work our way around, do the same thing that we did into this corner, that we did into this corner right here, and then work our way down. Once we get to the end, we're going to do a chain up of 1 and cut. Alrighty, so we are all back and we have just finished up going in with the bottom border, and the next thing that we're going to do right before we start going into the hood is just cleaning up the edges of our opening of our cardigan. We're just going to go in with a row of single crochet, and we're going to be switching out the colors where it is necessary as well. So all we're going to do is just insert our hook into this bottom corner, and then we're just going to be putting 1 single crochet into every regular loop that we have. And then once when we hit our double crochets, we're going to be putting 2 single crochets into each side double crochet. And then just keep going around like that, making sure that we're switching out our colors where necessary, and then I'll meet you guys back so that we can start in with our hood. Alright, so we have just finished up going in with the single crochet border along the entirety of our opening piece that we have right here, and now once when we have that, we're now going to go in with our hood. So my hood is actually perfectly spaced out right where the secondary color into where the front panel is meets our primary color. So I'm actually going to start my hood right here, but this is going to be completely up to you guys. You guys can go ahead and adjust to where you guys want your hood to be, and let's measure this out, just let you guys know from this corner down to where I'm starting my hood how many inches that is. So just to let you guys know, from where this corner is down to where I'm going to start doing my hood is a total of 3 inches or 7 centimeters. But you guys, like I said, go ahead and adjust from there. But the first row that we're going to do is just going to be a row of double crochet that goes along from where we want the hood to start, up and around the corners, through the back, and then down to where we want it to start or end, depending on how you look at it, on the other side as well. But this first row is going to be a row of either front loop or back loops, depending on how you guys look at it. I actually want mine to be a row of back loops, so this is going to start on the right side if your work is faced up or faced outward, right side up. So I'm going to be inserting my hook into this first loop that we have right here with a double crochet. So I'm going to insert my hook into this back loop, and then from there I'm going to insert my yarn onto my hook, my secondary color, and I'm going to do a chain up of 3. That counts as a double crochet, and for this first row we're going to be doing increases of 2 back loop double crochets into each 6th loop. So since this counts as 1, we're going to be going in with 4 more double crochets, so we have a total of 5 stitches. 4 and then 5. Once when we hit our 5, we're going to be doing an increase of 2 into the 6 so that our hood can be nice and wide for us. So once when we have that, all we're going to do is into that next back loop go in with 1 and then 2 back loop double crochets into that same loop. And we're just going to maintain doing that sequence going all the way around until we want to end it on the other side. So now that we've just made it all the way around with our first row of double crochet where we increase into every 6th stitch, what we're going to do from here is just start off by doing our alpine. Since we did start on this side, we're going to do a chain up of 1, 2, 3, flip our work, and then just go ahead and start with doing our front post double crochets, regular double crochets, and then go all the way around. But just in case if you guys did start on the other side, go ahead and do a row of single crochet so that you guys can end on this side, and then just go ahead and do your alpine from there. And then when we have this first row of double crochet, this is actually as big as I want my hood to be. You guys can go ahead and keep increasing into your hood if you guys need to or want to. If anything, you guys can go ahead and do the same increases for the next few rows, or you guys can just do increases along the outer edges right here. Completely up to you guys. But all I'm going to do is just keep going back and forth like this with alpines, making sure that we go in with our alpine going in this direction. Do a chain up of 1, single crochet going back, because we do need to start along this side for our alpine every single time. But go ahead and just keep going back and forth like that until we end up building up and getting the height of the hood that we want. So I'll meet you guys back once when I have all of that done, and then we can seam it all up together. Alrighty, so we are back and we have just finished up going in with the length of our hood that we have. And just to let you guys know, I have a total of 39 rows, or a total of 13 inches or 33 centimeters for the length. And what we're going to do from here, now that we have the length that we want, all we're going to do is just seam up the hood. So this is fairly easy. We're first going to take these 2 corners that we have, sandwich them together, and we're going to start off by pulling this inner loop that we have to the outside, because we want this to be flipped inside out. And then once we have that, we're going to take these 2 corners that we were pinching and just flip those inside out as well. So now this is what we're looking at. And from here, we're just going to seam it up with a row of single crochet, just like how we've been doing this entire time. So let's just do this first one together. We're going to insert our hook into that next available corner loop, because my hook is already in through this one. Yarn over, pull through. Once we have that, we're going to insert our hook into the next available loop, into the front panel, and then into the next available loop into the back panel, and then single crochet. And we're just going to work our way all the way down. Once we make it to the end, or we don't have any more loops left to go into, go ahead and do a chain up of 1 and cut. And now that we've gone in with our row of single crochet to close off the hood, what we're going to do from here is just clean up the edges a little bit. So we're going to go in just with rows of single crochet going all the way up and around. So I'm just going to show you guys where to insert your hook, and then I'll let you guys go from there. So all we're going to do is just take a look at the next available loop that we have into the body portion. Mine just so happens to be right where this secondary color meets the primary color. So I'm just going to insert my hook into there, insert my yarn onto my hook, pull through, and then from here we're just going to go into that first side double crochet that is into our hood with 2 single crochet. There is 1. And then there's 2. And then from there, we're going to go into that little side single crochet row with 1 single crochet. And then that's it. Go ahead and just keep doing that all the way around. Once when we hit the other side, we're going to slip stitch into the next available loop that we have into the body portion, which is this one right here, and do a chain up of 1 and cut. So I've just finished up going in with the hood, and the last thing that we have to do is seam in the pocket. And this is going to be fairly simple, so I'm not going to walk you guys through this. All you guys are going to want to do is take your tapestry needle and then just sew along the edges that we have, making sure that you guys are going in with the correct color, and then leaving that little slit open for our hand and calling it a day. And quick tip, try to align it as well as you can, but other than that, go ahead and have at it. And now that everything is nice and attached, the last thing we have to do is weave in our ends. We've woven in our ends, and this is our finished cardigan. This was an emotional roller coaster, but it turned out even better than I had imagined. And if you guys like it too, there's a written pattern down below. Use offer code TCDDIY for a discount, and enter this week's pattern giveaway by telling us what the best way of relaxing is after a long day. Good luck to everyone who enters. Also, give this video a thumbs up and let us know what you liked about it, but if you didn't like it, give this video a thumbs down, but let me know how we can improve. If you love it, be sure to hit that bell so you know when there's new uploads for you, and be sure to hit us up on Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram, and Facebook, links down below. If you want to buy this piece or any other piece on the channel, links to Poshmark, Depop, and Etsy are down there too, along with tools used. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next one.